Okay, so hi guys, this is Gamingpro, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what happened in FNATIC versus KRU as for what we are just going to talk about in the analysis, the in-depth analysis for how the matches and the fights were going on. I mean, that was kind of an important fight to just start off the momentum for both of the teams. But if we talk about the maps like Haven that were being used, maps like Bind that were banned, I mean that's kind of the FNATIC's strong point. But somehow things just went in their own ups and downs, and all together, if you just look through the maps and whatnot, so you'll find one thing, and that is KRU were really good in the initial rounds of the games. But after that, when obviously FNATIC started just getting those aim tools for themselves, they were really brilliant. So that's all that we're going to be talking about in this video. So make sure that you stick till the end, because there are going to be some important points as well that will be mentioned. So without further ado, let's actually begin this video. Before we begin, obviously, if we just talk about the analysis and the in-depth review for what we're going to be doing on, I'll tell you guys one thing, and that is do let me know if you just feel the same thing or not in the comment section down below, as I'm going to be talking about how does it matter when we talk about the 4 pillars of the game. As per me, what I think, there are 4 genuine good pillars of the game, along which a game around as such is just taken down. Obviously, the aim duels becomes the most important thing. Second's going to be your sound sense. Third's going to be your credits that actually you're obtaining through that one round, maybe winning or losing, maybe the hard equals or something that just goes down. And the fourth one is going to be the ability usage that you put forward, because unlike if we talk about the games like CSGO and all that, kind of primarily builds up your raw aim. But this one, obviously, alongside with the aim, if you have the utilities, you might as well just get the game for yourself with some IQ plays or something around the corner that you might just pull out that your opponents might not be just looking forward to. So the aim, the sound, the credits, and obviously the abilities are 4 pillars that where the game goes down. Plus, they are standing on one thing, and that is time, the most crucial thing. I mean, you have to, even if you want to go to the plant, if you're just faking out a side and moving towards another side, something like that, it takes a lot of time with itself. So all these things kind of just put down a major change. Now, without any further ado, let's actually get into the video. This is going to be a really important one. Obviously, it kind of just builds up the game as we talk about the map like Haven. I'm going to be talking about the agent selection that both of the sides did, alongside with the attack and the defense where they started. I mean, you can see obviously FNATIC had the attack for themselves and KRU had the defense. And if we talk about the lineups that were being used, you can see a lot of Astra obviously being used in the competitive meta. That kind of just brings up one thing for me in the question lines, and that is how well, like, just think about, previously there used to be an Omen meta. When we talk about it, Omen kind of just gave you the flexibility of using smokes, and obviously one blind that it kind of just gave it, right, the blind out that it just gave up. And obviously there were a few shrouded steps that you could just go forward. But Astra's ability to divide the maps in half when needed, maybe, I mean, if you talk about the ultimate ability, that kind of just puts it one step ahead, because obviously it gives you the smoke and the blind as well with itself. So those things kind of just matter a lot. Meanwhile, we could see a bit of Viper here and there. Viper kind of is just coming up good in the meta right now. Plus Killjoy. I mean, Killjoy post plant playing, if you're just playing post plant or something like that, Killjoy kind of just gives you that flexibility. And Sky, the flashes, Sky and Breach, both are pretty good. Previously, we've seen a lot of jets being used. If you just talk about in the previous meta, somehow a lot of jets, a few Sovas being used here and there. But those things, I mean, they are good. You can use it. It obviously depends on the player's perspective. But this is what we were looking forward onto this match. Now, let's just get into the game to see the in-depth version of what was happening and how it was just moving forward with everything. So I don't know, how much of you agree with me on this one or disagree with me on this one. Do let me know down in the comment sections for sure. But if you talk about the aim duels altogether, and if you just if you look forward to the aim duels, somehow this kind of becomes one thing. I don't know, what I feel is, let's talk about the region specific. Let them region, kind of the aim duel thing. As compared to other regions, they kind of need to just step up their game just a bit. In the initial rounds, KRU was doing pretty decent. Every time when it was a swap or maybe the initialization, they won back-to-back 2 rounds. This comes down to one thing, and that is they like to play slow. It kind of just shows here they like to play slow. They like to get the information of the whole area as such. And whenever there's a rush maybe on them, if it happens, like through the open areas or something like that, if it happens, then they like to just play around it. So they like to start really slow, and then they just move forward with themselves. This is what they did in this round as well. You can see obviously, the other players were taken down of FNATIC really easily, really early, and Magnum was the one who was trying to take up the fights and obviously taking up the picks for himself. But when it came down to the final duel or something, he also went down, and this happened in two different rounds, like the first round and the second round. If you just look forward to this one, I mean, this is where it happened again. They spot down each other and the players take down, but this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about the let's talk about the second round, where it just, started. Look at this. I mean, FNATIC, they wanted to move in, but this is where, the information becomes important. Look at where KRU is and where FNATIC is, how they can move forward. This is where, if I just move it a bit back, I guess it should be somewhere around this area. Obviously, the players were taking each other down and whatnot as they were doing. And like one player taking down, the information being spread evenly. Obviously, there are three players. The one with the spike, that's Mystic, was at the back lines at that moment, and then the players just moving forward just a bit. Doma just trying to get the pick, the information first, and if you get information and pick all together, it becomes a good thing. Look at this. Spots one, shots one, takes one down. Brilliant. Now, if we talk about it, if you just look forward to it on the map, you can see obviously there's one Sage. There's one Sage here as well that has taken down one. Sage kind of has an information of this area, and then obviously there was Jet onto the short side as well, just trying to get the area. This is where a wall was, so these areas kind of just become important. If there's a wall, that means there's a Sage onto the A side as well. Otherwise would not have stayed there. Now look at these stars that obviously Astra has distributed. One star was just here, so if a player goes around to this area, will be pulled in, and that's where Astra's information relies. Astra needs to know about this information. At this moment, Astra kind of relies on the sound sense as well, that will the pull-in happen or not, and that's what we can see. In a while, obviously, Astra was here, Astra was just a bit flashed, and then obviously one player was pulled in. That happened altogether. If you just look forward to it, just about now it will happen. Look at this. Astra did pull in, almost KG was pulled in, but obviously had a good area, had a good timing, stayed a bit back. So this is where the sound sense and the reliance on the sound sense becomes really important. That obviously I would say Delzik had, and Delzik kind of becomes a really good person when we talk about the balanced gameplay of Astra. I mean, really balanced, just relying on all the resources and all the information that's either being given to him or either just taken out of him. So that information reliance becomes really important. That's what he was doing. This is the initial rounds, if we talk about it, right? If we talk about the EMEA region and the LATAM region, they need to understand. They always have seen, obviously have seen each other play, each other, prosper. They have studied the teams. But the thing is, playing against each other, and that too in the first game, it kind of just, gets you through one thing, and that is what they are actually thinking. And I would say somehow Delzik's Astra and Boaster's Astra had two differentialities in themselves. Delzik Astra was a bit, reliant on the information. Obviously, it's important. Your Astra is if it's reliant on the information, and Boaster's Astra was reliant on the way the playstyle changes. In the first two rounds, the playstyle of FNATIC was a bit slow. Then they started moving up, and the playstyle of FNATIC just moved up with its pace. You'll see it here as well. As it happens, just look at the A side where most of the players are. Everyone just right now, will be having an information that, all right, there's a skirmish going on here. There's one case just onto the backside. But look at this, the cluster that just wants to move forward. The cluster that wants to move forward either want to go for a plant or just want to just stay onto the backlines, somehow things like that. And this is where it comes down to aim duels and the aim speciality. I would say in the initial rounds, it always happens, the game kind of just turns up its pace after the second round, when every team kind of has credit for themselves. That's where FNATIC just went really good. But this is where it was kind of a big blunder. Just in a while, you'll see. Look at this. They're just trying to spot Nax it. All right, takes down one now. Just look at this. He has spotted on the player. If just if I just slow it down a bit again, you'll see. Let's just slow it down a bit. Obviously, Naxit takes down one. That was a good one. That was a good headshot. And now, as Naxit knows that he needs to just the information, the main source of information is you gotta slow your back, so that whenever someone else moves, you kind of just gets that information as well. But now there's a Viper wall. The Viper wall might not let you play around the areas, so you need to gather as many punch of information as much as you can, as soon as you can. That's what happens here. Look at this. Knows there's one player, knows there's two players. As soon as he knows he needs to spray around this box. All right, he should not go for the green Radianite box, but needs to spray around this box, and that's where he starts. Good spray. He's moving as well. If you're moving, it's like, there are three players. He knows there are two players, but he's just, continuing his play. So he knows that, if he's moving, there are players that are going to be just, relying on the information on one direction. So the spray of the opponents should be around this area, around this. But this player has moved from here to here and is continuing the spray from this angle to this angle. That's where the aim comes down. That's where the understanding comes down. So KRU had a really good understanding of the initial rounds. But the thing is, look at this again. Spots one, takes one. You could see the Sage was looking at this direction only. The Sage was still looking at this direction. That just means that Naxxed has had a lot of time to just gather that information, switch onto the gun, understand what's important at that moment, and then that also just gets through the understanding of their own game sense. They had good. But now, if we move forward to the other rounds, that's where I would say, obviously, KRU kind of faltered down, and that comes down to the gameplay of players like Boaster, players like Duck, like Jet and Astra, like that kind of players. That they just, bring out something good for the gameplay and for the game sense. That we'll see in a while. When we talk about the information reliant rounds, this is one of the prime examples of how the information can be used. Look at this, obviously FNATIC just, now they are picking up their pace, their momentum, and they are as well just, trying to spot down the players and the plays as for what happens. Look at this, just moving up forward and just, I know what's happened. All right, just, spots down one, but the thing is, now the information is given. And now, look at this. The Tasmanian tiger, what do you call it? The Tasmanian dog devil. I mean, it's different, but that's on the hunt and it's been spotted. The information is given. On hill, there's a killjoy. If we are moving up there, we need to move on to that area as soon as we can. They move up there, but Klaus is really good with his aim. Same goes for, if we talk about from FNATIC, same goes for Boaster. Look at Klaus's aim and look at Boaster's aim. This is a really good thing. Like, obviously, they are in different teams, but they kind of have the same aim mentality. The aim mentality obviously just, comes down to one thing, and that is more picks, or maybe, what do you call it? More deaths, obviously, in less number of bullets. That's what both of them just, give for themselves. That kind of obviously goes down to the aim practice. So this is what both are doing. Picks in less number of bullets, and then just, relying on information. Knows there's one player, again, takes one kill, and FNATIC obviously gets this round. So these kind of rounds is where a FNATIC had the best of the best understanding of the game for themselves, and they just got it out. Like they just got it out when it was needed a lot. So once they started off with the momentum, they were looking really good. I actually love that Doma and I have the same sword skin, the Sovereign sword. Well, he copies me. Well, now if we just talk about the other duels, there were so many of Jet 4Ks that we saw. Same with V1 as well, and obviously with FNATIC as well. So Jet 4Ks kind of just get you the best understanding of how the abilities are used, and that's where the ability comes on. So as we were talking about the four pillars of the game, it becomes really important for all this. So yeah, that's just I kind of enjoyed it. So let's just talk about that as well. Once there are a lot of footsteps, a lot of gunshots that are being used onto one side, and that's kind of the beauty of the icebox, right? One side kind of becomes completely compact, completely closed up. The other side becomes really opened up. Like the opened up around, there's one yellow box, and then there's an open area till the snowman area, to just play around. That's the B side, obviously. But if you're talking about the A side, look at this. Before this was happening, a Sova like Boaster obviously just even used an owl drone just to gather around the information of the area, if there's someone or if there's someone at that area or not. And if you look at this, the revivals are also being given by the Sage from KRU. So there are so many things that are happening. So there's a chaos that's going on. And if you look forward, you can see obviously everyone's around this chaotic area. And if there's chaos on one side, means obviously no one would want to fake and move on to the other side ever at this moment. Obviously no one would want to do that unless it's kind of really important. But being like the Vipers being used, the Viper walls being used and utilized, you could have, but it was not needed at this moment. Now, if we look forward to it, look at this one. This is pure beauty that's being used onto this tournament. Pure beauty. If we talk about the shots, information that's being utilized, and the shots. I mean, this is what I was talking about, right? What do they want? More information, more utilization, and the impact that it creates. He knows that's the game sense. Obviously, he knows one good shot, and obviously he can take down his ultimate. The ultimate will be there. So there it is. Moves forward, one good shot, the ultimate comes in. Now spots one straight up. The tailwind also becomes important right at that moment, because if the shot is missed or something, you need to be in cover ASAP. And your shots at this moment kind of should be head, right? That's important. So again, another shot, there it is. The final one, there it is. And the round for them. That's a clutch. That's indeed a proper clutch, the way it's being done. So that's how FNATIC just, plays onto the information that's given to them. And they like to just, utilize it for their maximum optimization. That's how it is. And I don't think so. As of now, there's going to be no stopping them. Obviously, we'll have to see in the upcoming games for what happens when we talk about the rounds and the games like obviously Sentinels versus FNATIC. That's going to be happening. Do let me know down in the comment section below which team are you guys supporting and which team do you guys feel is going to be really good, or if there are some dark horses in the competition as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video and share it with your friends. And I'll see you guys around. So thank you everyone for watching. Take care. Peace out.